Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Zelensky is threatening Poland, or maybe specifically, he's threatening Nawrocki, who is the president of Poland, Karol Nawrocki, without really saying that, but kind of saying that. You know Zelensky, right? You don't know if you have substance in his blood or you have, well, you have substance in his blood, but you don't know if his blood already has turned into the substance completely. Nevertheless, I want to really bring this story to you that I have not addressed. However, it would be nice if I would, because I'm from Poland and I am still here. Not forever, that's for sure, but I want to explain to you what's really going on at this moment, which I think a lot of you will appreciate the content. The second topic is those of you who are rejoicing that Keir Starmer is no longer the Prime Minister of UK. Don't celebrate too soon, because very much likely his replacement will be another Zionist. And I'm going to play two videos for you. First, describing who is next and what is his opinion about the blue and white flag country. And someone who lives in UK, who's British, she will also explain to you who this person is that will be probably the next, very much likely, I believe, the next Prime Minister of the UK. And then they have already scheduled the war, the next war. They already know what kind of war it will be. It's going to be in 15 years. That is their plan. And I don't know if this is like in the Hollywood movies, they have to announce it to us 15 years in advance. So we are like, okay, that's coming. So let's prepare mentally what kind of war it is and with what country. I will be talking about this before the end of this video. Some of you probably already know. But before we start, as always, thank you so much to Alan, who donated on PayPal. Again, I appreciate your frequent support, and to anyone who is really helping me out and supporting on Patreon and Locals. It really means a lot to me. So let's start with the story. I still remember it was 2023 and I was traveling, and I remember the news that Polish president at that time, whose name was Andrzej Duda, who opened the borders for Ukrainian refugees and who was hugging Zelensky like more than his brother would. Yeah, less than Macron, but more than other people. BFFs they were. Anyway, so he was doing something that a lot of Polish people were like, this is a little bit too much, right? Over the top. A lot of things were over the top. But what happened is the story with the order. And I want to show you what he did. First, let me find this video. So here you can see, I'm gonna mute this. You see Polish president at that time, Duda, giving Zelensky the highest order one can receive given by Poland. Okay, it doesn't have to be to Polish person, of course, but to Polish people as well. But this is the highest order. I was like, what the heck? Anyway, let me show you what is this order about. So then you have some reference of it, because that is actually pretty historical order. So it's called Order of the White Eagle. And as you can see here, established November 1st, 1705. That's how it looks like. And it says, for faith, law, and king, for fatherland and nation. And what is this about? Well, the Order of the White Eagle, in Polish we say Order Orła Białego, is the highest honor of the Republic of Poland and formerly the Second Polish Republic and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So throughout the history, you see how that was changing. And one of the oldest state decorations in the world, still in use. It was officially instituted on 1st of November 1705 by Augustus II the Strong, who was the King of Poland, an elector of Saxony. Nevertheless, let's scroll down. they give this order to people who are doing something really, really special for Poland, who are actually the most acknowledged and the most important. They contribute the most in a way, if you can just say it this way. So giving this to Zelensky at first place was like, this is just ridiculous, okay? And now what happened? Not a long time ago, some of you probably know, I'm sure a lot of you do. Let me see. This is what happened, okay? On May 26th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky issued a decree that a special forces unit of the Ukrainian army was being given the honorary name Heroes of the UPA, explaining that it was to restore the historical traditions of the national army. So he's naming one of the special forces of the Ukrainian army. He's naming them by the Nazi organization that was doing this. And I want to show you as much as I can, because I'm not going to click on a lot of those images. When you put on Google search Wołyń, this was the genocide that was taking place during the World War II in the regions of southern eastern Poland, where people were killed, and more than 100,000. I think some say even 300,000 people. Those images are so disturbing, guys, that, I mean, if you want to, you can click on them, but they show how horrific it was, how they were killing children, women, men, anyone, pretty much anyone. They were going through those villages and absolutely slaughtering them just because they were Polish. And it was organized and it was executed by UPA. So now we have Zelensky naming that special military unit in order of heroes of UPA, right? So the Polish president, again, I don't trust any politician, but he used to be, he knows a lot of history. Again, history is also twisted, but he worked for the Institute Pamięci Narodowej, Institute of the National Remembrance. Okay, so he had access to a lot of files and documents. He was the director of it, actually. So this is someone who actually knows a lot about that genocide in Wołyń. And that case was never closed. Those victims, they don't have the proper burial. And there is this ping pong going on since forever about how to solve this, right? And of course, Ukraine is not solving this. And we are dealing with this trauma in a Polish nation. And I actually thought about this before. We have this trauma that is in the soul of the nation, right? Soul, the land as well, that has not been worked through. There is no apologies, there is no closure to it. Meanwhile, we are opening the borders in 2022, unconditional love, so-called, by many Polish people, by the way, actually. So the government decision is one thing, but a lot of Polish people opened their homes and allowed the refugees to find the shelter, right? Which to me, it was like you haven't really worked through the karma, but you are allowing certain energy, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them, to come in and maybe repeat this again in a different form. So now we have this story that Polish president, Karol Nawrocki, the one who was the director of this Institute of National Remembrance, he says, you know what, after you naming that special unit in honor of UPA that slaughtered those children, I'm going to play part of the speech that he gave a few days ago. I want this order back, right? I want you to send this order back. So maybe actually let's go to this order. I'm going to show you how they send it. by the post service, by the way. So here is this order. This is how they are wrapping this up. I'm not going to read this because this is like BS story. Anyway, this is how he's receiving. And then they just took it to some postal service and they just send it back. All right. So this order, I think it's already back in Poland. But now I want to play the most important thing what President of Poland said in a video that was dedicated to asking Zelensky to send this order back. And then I want to play for you something what Zelensky said yesterday, and this is threatening. You can, say it's out of the context, maybe, but I want to play Polish president first. So let's take a listen, because he is addressing this situation with the genocide that took place, and UPA was responsible for it, as a beginning of the speech, which is really important because this sets the foundation for why he is doing this, right? Again, this guy should never receive it in the first place, but you know how they operate. So let's take a listen to Polish president.
Szanowni Państwo, ofiar naszych przodków nie wolno zdradzić milczeniem. To groby, o których nie wolno zapomnieć. To rany historii, które wymagają prawdy, pamięci i szacunku. My, Polacy, pamiętamy o swoich. Nie porzucamy ich i zawsze się o nich upominamy. Szacunek dla przodków i uczciwość wobec historii są obowiązkiem nas wszystkich. Naród, który traci pamięć, traci część swojej duszy. Państwo, które przestaje bronić prawdy o swojej historii, przestaje być strażnikiem narodowego szacunku. Prawda historyczna nie jest i nigdy nie może być kartą przetargową. Pamięć o ofiarach jest moralnym obowiązkiem państwa polskiego. Dla zdecydowanej większości polskiego społeczeństwa ukraińska powstańcza armia UPA pozostaje przede wszystkim formacją odpowiedzialną za okrutne zbrodnie dokonane na obywatelach Rzeczypospolitej podczas II wojny światowej. Stanowisko państwa polskiego w tej sprawie jest znane od lat. W 2016 roku Sejm Rzeczypospolitej Polskiej uznał zbrodnie dokonane przez OUN i UPA za ludobójstwo. Na mocy tego aktu dzień 11 lipca został ustanowiony Narodowym Dniem Pamięci Ofiar Ludobójstwa dokonanego przez ukraińskich nacjonalistów. W 2025 roku zostało to także potwierdzone mocą specjalnej ustawy. Fakty nie podlegają negocjacjom, nie zmieniają się wraz z polityczną koniunkturą czy potrzebą. Fakty są takie, że co najmniej 100 000 polskich obywateli zostało zamordowanych przez UPA na Wołyniu, w Galicji Wschodniej, Lubelszczyźnie czy Podkarpaciu tylko dlatego, że byli Polakami lub Żydami czy innymi mniejszościami. Faktem jest, że ofiarami byli mieszkańcy wsi i miasteczek, całe rodziny, kobiety, dzieci i osoby starsze. Nie byli żołnierzami na polu bitwy, byli bezbronnymi cywilami. Zostali zamordowani brutalnie i bestialsko. Faktem jest również, że do dziś ofiary nie doczekały się godnego pochówku. Dlatego nadanie jednej z ukraińskich jednostek wojskowych nazwy odwołującej się do zbrodniarzy z UPA ma znaczenie wykraczające daleko poza wewnętrzną sprawę Ukrainy. Polska wielokrotnie sygnalizowała stronie ukraińskiej szczególną wagę tej kwestii. Przekazywaliśmy nasze stanowisko i oczekiwanie ponownego rozważenia skutków tej decyzji i dla relacji między naszymi państwami. Ostatecznie stanowisko strony ukraińskiej nie uległo zmianie. Historia nie powinna być przeszkodą dla przyszłości. Dobra przyszłość może jednak zostać zbudowana wyłącznie na prawdzie. Polska wielokrotnie pokazywała, że potrafi kształtować przyszłość ponad ciężarem przeszłości, ale nigdy kosztem pamięci. Przez ostatnie lata konsekwentnie budowaliśmy relacje z Ukrainą oparte na partnerstwie i dialogu. Po objęciu przeze mnie urzędu prezydenta podjęliśmy wspólnie z prezydentem Ukrainy wysiłek odbudowy zaufania w obszarach pozostających źródłem napięć. Udało się osiągnąć postęp w sprawach, które przez dziesięciolecia pozostawały nierozwiązane. Zwrot kościoła świętego Mikołaja w Kijowie,
I'm not going to play this entire speech anyway. This was the speech that was asking for this order to be returned. So here is a video from yesterday with Zelensky threatening, what's new? Netanyahu or Zelensky, the same tactics. So I'm gonna actually read this because he speaks in his language. Well, actually, this is not his language, but I'm gonna read what he says, actually translating from Polish translation into English. So this is him addressing, sending that order back to Poland. He's talking about the president, Nawrocki, Polish president. This depends on him. What does he mean? I think that after he made the decision, this means that he is continuing the political fight. So he is actually turning this entire situation. He's not even mentioning about naming that special military unit, honoring this by giving some name and honor of UPA. But he is turning this entire story, so not even mentioning the reason why Nawrocki, president of Poland, asked him for this order back. He is using this as talking about the fight, political fight between Polish government and Polish president. So that he continues the political fight. And within his own country, and actually in the cost of his own country, and he is stirring up, firing up the mood of hatred, the attitude of hatred towards Ukrainians, the same what Orban did. And this is bad history, Zelensky said. I believe that it will end bad. What do you mean, Zelensky? Like what bad? I think I know, actually. That's why we have to. But again, here is not about emotions. We have to, but about concrete steps. They asked us about sending them, giving them back the order. This is not a question to me. I say it sincerely. This is not a question, even though someone else gave me the order, like different president gave me the order. Anyway, it was not for me. It was for the nation of Ukraine. That means that was for our army, and so on and so on. Okay, so he said that things will end badly. So if you wonder what does he mean by that, it's actually very simple. Because when they opened the borders in 2022 and they allowed people from Ukraine to come in, that was strategic as well. It was very strategic as well because they wanted to position certain groups here that will be doing certain things, like, for example, spying, creating some fires, some demolition, some destruction. So a lot of those we have already operating in Poland, and they are getting the information about the most strategic military places as well. So what does this do? Of course, this is the plan to create the inner conflict and use Ukrainians against Polish people. It's pretty simple, from within, because they're already here. Again, who designed this? I think we all know. I think the same people design it who are designing the next prime minister of UK to be this person. So let me show you who is coming. Very much likely, I'm not sure this is official, I don't think it is yet, after Keir Starmer, because he just resigned. This is the next, very much likely, the next prime minister of the UK.
The first foreign visit I would do as leader of the Labour Party would be to Israel. The leader of the Labour Party, I would make it my business to put those relationships right.
Why are people celebrating the resignation of Starmer? One Zionist puppet replaced with another Zionist puppet. Let me show you. Andy Burnham is a member of the World Economic Forum, who are trying to push for digital ID. They are also pushing for 15-minute cities and digital currency, because their plan is to enslave us all, and he is part of that party. Another thing is that he denies genocide happened in Gaza. And I'm just going to play you a couple of clips. He is far worse than Starmer, so stop celebrating.
Andy Burnham had the power to stop the grooming gangs, but he chose not to. Instead, he's complained about the over-politicization of the issue and called concern about the grooming gangs propaganda.
There's been over-politicization of this issue. People have used it for their political purposes rather than just focus on the issue and the victims and what's right. The levels of propaganda.
Thousands of girls endured horrific abuse at the hands of depraved predators, including in the Makerfield constituency. Yet now Andy Burnham seeks to use the very communities he failed so badly to catapult himself to power.
We need to now reach out, and we need to show that we are listening to people across the board, including in the community. It is clear that when we went into the last election, relationships were damaged. As leader of the Labour Party, I would make it my business to put those relationships right. And as a start of a 10, I can say tonight that the first foreign visit I would do as leader of the Labour Party would be to Israel, to show that message from the very start.
To add insult to injury, he's also a climate change fanatic and tried to push clean air zones around Manchester and surrounding areas. This guy is not on our side. No member of the Labour Party is ever going to be on our side. And the only way we're going to take back control of our lives is to get rid of all of them. They all need to go. Labour are the worst political party ever. They're all full of shit. Here we go again. Brace yourselves for round two.
So like I say, you will never have anyone in power in those positions that is not approved, chosen, or deliberately delivered and groomed, because he was groomed, trained by those that are really pulling the strings behind the scenes, right? And when I think about Starmer, I remember in one of the videos I was showing you Starmer in several photographs, he was next to Jimmy Savile, who was one of the worst pedophiles, I think, in the world, but in UK especially. There, right? He lived there, Jimmy Savile. Many of you know who I'm talking about. He was close with Prince Charles then, now King Charles. Yeah, and Starmer was probably groomed by him. So I don't care if he's married, because to me, he's not that sexual orientation at all. Even if he has children, that's like, this doesn't prove anything, really. So yeah, that's what's coming next. Now, what is next as far as this war? What are they planning for the next conflict? But it's in 15 years. In 15 years, so we still have time. Things might change. So let me play this clip for you if you haven't seen it, because they're gonna already announce it. You know, it's an announcement. What is the next war? With whom?
"15 years from now, Israel will have a war with Egypt."
Yes, you heard it right, 15 years. And this is at the JNS, which stands for the Jewish News Syndicate, which is a summit that they hold every year. And if you're wanting to go, they're sold out. This summit hosts top leaders in the world, pastors, politicians, and all the alike. Now listen to what he says about America.
Unfortunately, America is weak. Now, imagine you're an Israeli prime minister today, and you understand that in 15 years you're going to have a war with Egypt, and you don't know who's going to be the prime minister, the president of the United States in 15 years from now. What do you do today to address that challenge?
This begs the question that if they perceive America to be so weak, why are they allowing us to continue to send them foreign aid?
15 years from now, Israel will have a war with Egypt.
Yes, you
The number one threat for America is the Muslim Brotherhood. CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood are trying to take over now Florida and Texas. And first they take Florida, then they take Texas, and then America falls. New York, they already took over. Now, it's not only a threat for America, it's a threat for Israel. And 15 years from now, Israel will have a war with Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood will eventually take over Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood, which is a Sunni jihad, now after we weaken the Shia jihad, will be a threat to the world. Turkey is now taking over. Fidam Khan, what's his name? The foreign minister, Hakam Fidan, the foreign minister of Turkey, announced that we took Haleb, we took Damascus, and Jerusalem is next. The Sunni jihad is the next enemy. Israel needs to be strong. America needs to be strong. Unfortunately, America is weak. Now, imagine you're an Israeli prime minister today, and you understand that in 15 years you're going to have a war with Egypt, and you don't know who's going to be the prime minister, the president of the United States in 15 years from now. What do you do today? The number one threat for America is the Muslim Brotherhood.
So there you have it, everyone. He forgot about another wall in between, because I think they were mentioning Turkey, right? Before Egypt. So he forgot about that. Crazy people, no? Absolutely insane. Like right in the face of everyone around the world, telling you what they are planning to do next. But this is programming. It's like subconsciously, you might not agree with it, but you already heard it. So you heard the message, you got the info. You know, like with Hollywood movies, they show you those things that they already prepared and they are announcing them. A lot of people think, oh, it's a science fiction. No, it's not science fiction. It's actually very often even the technology that already exists, and they are just, you know, preparing in this certain time frame to release it. But before they do, they have to show you, and you have to see it. And by the universal law, they have to inform you. And then you consent, you agree, you say, okay, no objection, go with it. There you have it. That's all I have for you today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys very much. If you value the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you choose to support my work, as always, the links to my Patreon, Locals, and PayPal are down below the video. And to those of you who have Instagram, please follow me there, because I really want to focus on beautiful things during this summer. And if you follow me there, that's what you will be looking at mainly. Only, actually. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video very, very soon.